All right, let's do this. Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. We find amazing people doing amazing things in the world. And we have two entrepreneurs that that really deal with the hardest part about entrepreneurship, which is your personal life. That's tough.
Real tough.
Ain't it?
Yeah.
All right, biggest problem. Before y'all even introduce yourself, what is the biggest problem when it comes to an entrepreneur that's successful and they don't have the other relationship side of their life? What do you think the biggest issue they struggle with?
Take that.
Biggest issue that they struggle with is...
Get the mic a little closer. Yep, you good.
Yep. In terms of with the partner?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or just that unfulfilled side of their life. Because there's a lot of successful, let's say, men
Yep.
that don't have that one part and they're just out in the streets and it's not working out. Or even tougher, I think, is the super successful woman and they want that other side, but they're getting intimidation and stuff like that.
Definitely. So the biggest problem that a lot of people face is you have one person that invested in themselves, personal development, business development, and they skyrocket, went to the moon. The other person didn't. So what happens is you wind up growing like this. You're around other people of the opposite sex that is killing it, doing their thing, looking great, looking successful. And then you go home and you're looking at this point down at who you may have started. So y'all may have started from nothing together, but one person excelled, got super successful, and it's a different view now. Where you were looking sideways to your partner, you're now looking down on your partner. And so a lot of things become unattractive. The attitude, just the feeling of wealth and success, and even communication. You're communicating with the opposite sex when you're at, business meetings and conferences, and it's like stimulating. You go home and there's no longer those stimulating conversations. So now it's so many things that now it's not unattractive to you with your partner.
Or even as a single person who you're dating, right? A lot of entrepreneurs understand where they're going. They have this plan, their vision, their goals. They know exactly what that looks like. But then it comes to their personal life or the person they want to be attracted to. They have no idea what it's supposed to look like. So therefore, they're dating anyone. And it's like, if you don't know what you want, then expect to get whatever comes to you.
Yeah.
But you got to have that exactly how you game plan your business, exactly what you need. You also need that same type of plan with who you're looking to date or what you want your spouse to be like while you're dating or in a marriage.
Got it. All right, so let's get into the introductions, okay? If you're out, how do you introduce yourself? I'll start here. How do you introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Dhayany Walker.
I'm sorry?
I'm Dhayany Walker, Lovepreneur. My husband and I have a platform where we coach, consult couples that are entrepreneurs, and we consult with their business and make sure that they're growing together personally in their relationship and in their business. My husband and I started dating back in 2001, and in 2007, he took me more serious. And
6 years.
It took 6 years for him to know that I add value to his life.
Why do you think it took him 6 years? Why do you think that?
Because he did not know exactly what he needed, so he fell for anything. So his vision of a woman in 2001 was the big booty, the nice body, attractive, because men are very visual. So he was still in his visual state, not realizing that I need a woman to stimulate me visually, but also personally. And when, as an entrepreneur, at the time, he didn't realize I also need her to stimulate me in my business. I need her to know how to grow me in that area as well, how to assist me in that area as well, how to support me, how to be his helpmate. 2001, at that age, he didn't realize how important that was to him. In 2007, that's when it all came about. We got reacquainted, the flirting and all that. And he was in real estate, and we were having a conversation. He was like, by the way, what is your 5-year plan? Now his conversations are different. He's thinking about his 5-year. So he's asking the girl that he's potentially dating about her 5-year, right? So now there is a vision there. This is what I need you to be compatible with me. My response, coincidentally, was, I want to own a block. I did not know he was in real estate at this point. He was like, you want to own a block? So do I. I want to own business. I want to own all types of buildings. And that stimulated him. Now
Hold on, was that really you, or you were on what he was on at the moment?
Well, again, I didn't know he was real estate yet. All I knew was the body shop guy.
Yeah.
Everybody knew me. He had a body shop, the car guy. Yeah. He is the car guy. And I didn't know that he had 2 properties that he was working on, rehabbing. That was conversations later. And I started getting around what he was doing at that time. And it just became a thing with us. I was in corporate America. I just finished graduating from Temple in 2006. I was a consultant for a company. And it kind of just fit in. I was trying to consult him. Our second answer to your original question, what is that difficulty? Because he answered like, what's the number one? The second thing is the power struggle. And that's what our issue was. We had a power struggle. This is a man that's established. He knows what he wants. He knows what his 5 years is going to look like. He was already building. I am coming in as a woman should, a powerful woman meaning a woman with intellect, with ideas and intuition. I had those 3 things. He did not know how to do that. He didn't know how to manage something like that. So it became as though I was coming in to control him, to consult in his business. I was doing too much, right? This is my business. You don't have to, that type of conversation. And so that's what bonded this. That's what became a little difficult. This is why we started Lovepreneur. We realized that this power struggle of 2 powerful people trying to combine ideas and visions and goals doesn't come easy. It comes with struggle. It comes with friction. And if we're going to overcome this, we have to create a formula that will sustain us.
So real quick, because there's some people that can. So my first question was, when he said he wants to own a block.
No, I said that.
Oh, you said that.
I said that.
I got you. Okay, got you.
Yeah, that was my response. He asked, what's your 5-year look like?
Right, you said that, then he was like, yo, me too.
Like,
got it, okay.
Yeah, we all on the same tip.
Right.
What's up? I guess your booty is not that small.
Hilarious. And, okay, so the second part is, there are certain women that do come in and control. It's not that I don't know how to manage that, but you're unmanageable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So there are some women that may be watching it right now saying, yeah, I came in and I was trying to add to his vision with these hands, trying to add to his vision. Yeah. And he didn't accept it because he's not ready for somebody like me, when maybe the person's overpowering. So I'm asking you too, from 2001 to 2007, where did you have to even prepare yourself to be that?
I'm still preparing, by the way. The fact answer. That you think That's there's good. A time range. That doesn't have an expiration date. I still prepare. I'm still to this day being checked on my tone. So we call this, how do I speak to a man, especially a powerful man? Tone, touch, and time.
3
tone,
T's. 3 T's.
The 3 T's, right? So, knowing how to speak to him at the right time, knowing how to speak to him with the right tone, and knowing how to speak to him with the right tongue. So what words are rolling off my tongue, right? And that takes maturity. I'm constantly maturing. And to that example, that scenario, let's just say the man is still a leader. He's the visionary. My husband at the time, he was the visionary, the leader. He had a business, I didn't. If I'm coming in and trying to just spill out my ideas on him, he too needs to learn how to manage me.
For sure.
As a leader, it's your responsibility to know what are the skills that everyone around me brings and how do I manage those skills and keeping them in a boundary, right? So if you tell me that a man, did not know how to manage his woman, that means that he doesn't have the leadership qualities for her. She's not malfunctioning because she wants to. She's malfunctioning because you don't know what she's equipped with. So you're not able to manage her correctly.
Okay, calm down. Okay, relax.
Right,
okay?
It ain't her, it's you, boo. So I definitely don't want to put all the responsibility on her. As a man, as a leader, if you don't know how to manage that, then of course she's going to seem like she's malfunctioning. She's frustrated. She's annoying. She's nagging. She's too boisterous, too opinionated. All those things are amazing qualities, actually. Yeah. As a leader, you didn't know how to value that, right? And how to give it direction.
That's good. Okay. How do you introduce yourself?
Demetrius Walker, I'm a real estate developer, business consultant. My wife and I, we do Lovepreneurs together. We partner and buy businesses as well as real estate.
Mm-hmm. Love that. So when you are in your phase as an entrepreneur, I think this is such an important conversation to have for entrepreneurs, because there are some people that's, you just focus on your business and they say things like, well, I'm really focused on my business right now. I ain't got time for that. Yeah. When, in my opinion, you have less time being single because you're always looking for something. You're always searching for something. You're distracted. You might have a couple different situations at that point. That's way more distracting than locking into one person, from my perspective.
1,000%.
So where were you at in that time frame? Is she 100% correct? Like, y'all just looking for something?
Yeah, I mean, 2001, I was outside. Mm-hmm. I was outside. The switch of understanding, like, life is good, got business going on, no problem finding women, dealing with women. At that time in 2001, I definitely wasn't thinking maturity. I wasn't thinking family yet. I wasn't in that phase of life yet. Mm-hmm. So I was just kind of enjoying. She was always the dope person. Like, she was a little younger, but she was definitely that woman that had her own car, like everything. We got systems put in cars and stuff like that. She was getting systems put in cars, rims and all that. So in that season of my life, I was like in the streets. I was moving and shaking. I wasn't definitely thinking about, it's time to settle down and things like that. And that's why it's super important to anybody that's watching. You got to make sure that you're ready for that. Don't worry about the pressure. Everybody trying to tell you, when you going to settle down? You're getting older. When you going to have kids? When you going to get married? Don't allow anybody to press you into that, because it costs you one way or the other. Yeah, that's an important part of life that you really got to be prepared and ready to really take those steps. In 2001, I wasn't there yet.
Mm-hmm. How'd you get there?
As life started, happening, getting older, and then realizing, like, I feel like the older you get, like me at 42 now, the older you get, you start to really realize what's important about life. Mm-hmm. Like what it takes to get the life that you want. I come from both parents in the home, so I wasn't like oblivious to it. Like, that's something I never want. I always wanted it, but moving forward in life and maturing in business, understanding what it takes to be focused, understanding that you need a team. When I first started out in business, like, I felt like I didn't want no help. I wanted to have that S on my chest. Yeah. I want to be Superman. No, I could take care of it. Didn't realize that I was holding myself back from growth. And I realized, like, having partnerships in business, it can be fruitful, a lot to learn, but having a woman in your life that can support you, that that will lock in with you, have not just your back, but be beside you to look at the things that are important in business, catch those blind spots. Once I started maturing and realizing, like, this could be a great thing to have that helpmate, because I saw my parents do it. They were entrepreneurs. 2007 was just like a breaking point in life where I was ready for more. Yeah, I was more mature. I was getting involved in different things that I wasn't involved in 2001. And I was just at a point in my life where I was ready to take life to the next level.
Let me tell you why, even when we were talking yesterday, because I was talking to me and he's talking about, like, some of the business stuff. And I was like, man, we got to get you on the pod because you, like, know what you're doing. And he's like, you want me and Dan? Or, like, I was like, because y'all did the relationship stuff. And, I was kind of perplexed. I was like, dang, do I want to talk about this? And here's why. Not because I didn't deem it as important, because it's super important. And this is what entrepreneurs need to know. But I understand how hard relationships are. And in my head, flash, I am such a pessimist sometimes. I'm like, we could talk about how to fix relationships, but I don't know what they're going to be doing 3 years from today. Mm-hmm. Relationships are hard. Mm-hmm. People's like, you and your wife should do a podcast together. Mm-hmm. I'm cool. I would never suggest a couple to do a relationship podcast together, because you have the business of the podcast. We got to come up and show up. But all the things that happen before you show up on this podcast or doing anything together impact the thing that you're doing together. Definitely. So I was like, dang, but y'all got a solid relationship. So I was like, it'd be cool. But that's a real thought of mine. Am I being a pessimist? Or
no, we actually just experienced that. We we were on the show. I don't want to name the show. And it was 4 of us couples. And 50% are now divorced. And the other 2. And then one is like kind of shaking. We don't know what's going on because they're MIA. And then here's us, right? We build our relationship on a solid rock. There is nothing. There's really nothing. No matter what happens, I have this man's back. We have been through so much that wherever God leads us, I know that regardless of what the titles are, I have his back. Divorce, separation is not an option for us. It's not on the table.
It's always an option, though.
But it's not. But see, an option is what you give.
Got to remove that out of the head. Like anything that you lean on will be a crutch.
So some people say, yo, it's going to work or it's got to work. I have no other option but to do this. No, you got an option to not do this.
Yeah, but you also have an option not to even have that as an option. Like that's an option.
I don't know. Okay, explain it. Explain it.
So like that's not on the table. It's not something we're focusing on. Your brain is powerful. You manifest. If I put that on my table as an option, I know that I can pick it up at any time.
It's like a drug.
It's not an option. Mm-hmm. Him and I, we're building this thing. That's what it is. And when we have hurdles, we're going to figure out how to overcome that. It's the only option we have, whatever that is. If I go into this relationship or if I go into a business or a partnership thinking, well, it may not work. So therefore, now I'm creating that as an option, as a tool I'm going to use throughout our time, our journey. But if I'm not using that as, it's not even a tool for us, then our every decision making in this journey is going to go towards what the options on the table are, which is to overcome, which is to succeed, which is to figure it out, which is us or us, whatever that may look like. This notion that a relationship is supposed to be perfect, that we're not supposed to have problems, that we're not supposed to go through seasons of hard times. Who is drawing this out? Where's this Full House or whatever other, shows
Cosby
like
show.
that's the Cosby. Right. I mean, yeah, like it's not reality. Just like in a business. I mean, we're learning now as entrepreneurs, and I know a lot of us became entrepreneurs during the time of COVID and all that. And now you're going through a season like, oh, okay, so it's not as easy as it was the last 2-3 years. Business isn't easy. Am I not gonna go and achieve my goals? Am I not gonna have plans and visions? Because, some businesses fail. If that business failed, I'm going to figure out how to make sure it doesn't fail the second time I try and the fifth time I try. Why wouldn't my personal relationship have the same determination as I would for something I have purpose on? A business I want to start.
There's a lot of things you can do with $500. I mean, you can have a night out with your significant other. You could buy some really expensive shoes. Well, really nice shoes are about double $500. You could buy a course where you can learn something for $500. But I have something better for you to do with the $500. I want to meet with you every single morning for the rest of your life. Well, maybe not the rest of your life, but every morning, Monday through Friday, for the rest of the year. I have information and game that have allowed me to build a successful business, a successful community, and a successful life all the way around. But I want to share that with you. But the only way we can accomplish this is not me selling you a course, not me giving you a one-on-one consultation, because even with that, you'll get the information, but you'll need more. I want to meet with you every single morning. Now, would I meet with someone every morning for $500 for a year? And the answer is yes. Actually, we've been doing this thing since 2017. We have what's called the Morning Meetup. Every single month we have a theme, whether it's social media, whether it's motivation, whether it's strategy, whatever it is, we have a theme for the month, and every morning in that month, we have a conversation around that topic. And I am giving a wealth of knowledge, not only myself, but a lot of friends, a lot of people that you see on this podcast, they join every single week. So you need a community of people that you can grow with, and you need a coach. I'm your coach. The Morning Meetup is your community. Go to themorningmeetup.com. It's $499, and I will meet you every single morning for an entire year. Give it a shot.
It should be no different.
Have you ever loved anyone before meet?
Absolutely. The 6 years that him and I were together, I was in a relationship, a committed relationship, 6 years, traveled to see this man play basketball. He went international. I was in a relationship. What I realized is that he was still a boy. It didn't work. But what it taught me is how much value I had. And I was prepared to go date a man like Demetrius who has value. And I was already coming to the table with the value I knew I had. Yeah. So he was actually preparing me for a man like Demetrius.
But in those 6 years, and I'm just being
let's do
an advocate right now.
Absolutely.
in those 6 years, at some point you might have thought, oh, this is my husband forever. We're going to be together forever.
I never thought that.
You never thought that?
Never. And no offense, I mean, amazing guy, amazing family. Learned so much. It never felt permanent. It always felt temporary. Didn't know why. You know, when you're in it, you're not understanding why. You know, there were even some things that needed to be terminated, for those that would know what that means, because it wasn't permanent. It was obvious. Terminate? It's just certain things weren't long-term. Everything had an expiration date in that relationship. And it was obvious. There was an expiration for everything. I didn't know why. It just was. And I found out in 2007. Early 2007, we broke up. Late 2007, October, Demetrius and I saw each other again, inseparable. Knowing now from an eagle's view, I understood that relationship was allowing me to identify the values I had. They were being highlighted only to prepare me for this relationship, a more powerful one. I tell couples all the time, you would never understand why your partner's in your life until you identify the value on both sides. And a lot of times the relationship doesn't last. There's friction. There isn't support and help. Is not because it isn't there, it's because it hasn't been identified, right? So sitting down and understanding what's my value, what do I bring to the table? There is longevity in a relationship when value and skills are identified in it. And in that relationship, none of that was highlighted, but I started getting to know who I was. And it was just so I understood what I brought to the table for him. He can understand and appreciate who I am because of the value I bring. And I'm constantly making me better so I can constantly be of a value to him, his business, his vision, his goals, his dreams, and us as a unit.
I got you.
Now, disclaimer though, just for people that's watching.
Hold on real quick. In the meantime, Reese, let's have her move over there and turn that over because I'm seeing the side of her face. So, but yeah, so go for it. He's going to move you a little bit.
We're not sitting here saying like there's never a situation that you should divorce. You getting abused 1,000%. Like there are those things that people should divorce for.
Sit down here. Sit down.
Yeah. If it's something that's gonna affect potentially your life.
Yeah.
But just for us, we've made a conscious decision that is just something we're not gonna allow our minds to even think as an option. It's just like you go to the hospital, you got an illness.
Right.
You're gonna do whatever you gotta do to fight to stay alive. And a lot of people don't think like that when it comes to marriages and things like that and relationships. You're not willing to fight like you're fighting for your life. This is my life mate, so I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to fight for our life to be together. And everybody's not built for that. Like we meet with couples and we've heard of couples like getting divorced within like 3 years, y'all divorced. Y'all only been married 3 years. Yeah. On what grounds are you divorcing?
But hey, we also see people that are married for 20 years and divorced.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
It's such a challenging situation because I am pro relationship, and me and my wife, we've been together almost 6 years, and for me, divorce is not an option because one, I love my wife, I love my kids, I love this family dynamic, and even stronger, it's against my faith. It's against my religion. So it's not that just because I don't feel good one day, I'm gonna go against the vow I made to God.
Absolutely.
Even if I'm not feeling you, like you gotta leave me. I'm not leaving you.
Right.
Because
right.
I don't wanna be out of God's will, essentially. A lot of people don't have that because it's a real opportunity for you guys, amazing space. One person begins to, people change.
Yeah.
People change. And whatever that little thing is that you don't appreciate a lot about her or don't like or like really gets on your nerves or like, it's not enough for you to say, I'm gonna divorce you. But that little thing that kind of bothers you could grow into a thing that becomes unbearable.
Absolutely.
Only because people change over time. That's a real scenario for anybody. I don't care where you're at right now. So
that's true. And a lot of times it's couples not knowing where to go for us to get help with this.
Yeah.
It's just like you got a situation in your relationship. For entrepreneur couples, you can't go to a regular counselor or therapist with entrepreneur problems. If they're not entrepreneurs, they can't understand the full dynamic. So that's one problem that a lot of couples that have came to us, like, we are so glad we found y'all because we've done counseling that didn't work. You're talking to somebody that works a 9 to 5. The problems are different. It ain't no you just clocked out and you go home and do whatever you want. Right. No, it's things that have to still get done in the business. You guys have been working all day in the business. You come home, especially if you got kids. That's a whole nother dynamic.
Whole nother
you
dynamic.
You have to be able to talk to somebody about real issues that you're dealing with as a couple that has business, marriage, kids, investments. Like, it gets real gang related. So you a lot of times it's not having the right resources to go to. It's like a drug addict. Yeah. You know what I mean? You'll continue to do drugs until you go to a rehab that actually has the tools to help you get over it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the same thing when it comes to this dynamic.
Can I mention two things? So one, in the start of your comment or scenario, real life problems. Some people, it's easier to avoid a problem than to confront it.
For sure.
And what you do not confront has the right to exist. So if there is a problem in a relationship, if there is something that you do not like that they're doing, a lot of people rather avoid it and keep working, keep building on their business. They're too busy to confront the issue. It's too petty. It's beneath them. There's no reason to talk about it. Reasons are endless. So it has the right to exist. So it begins to grow. So that couple that's together for 20 years, right? They now have what we call division. So in a lovepreneur dynamic, there may be, there's one vision, right? In other words, you have goals, dreams, all that good stuff. So do I. But we're going to combine this thing so that we have one vision, right? With all the goals that we have, branches of all types of things we want to do. One vision, then there's two different positions accomplishing that vision. And in that 20-year scenario you named. So in that growth process of these two positions, you can either have division because now it created two different visions because you're no longer in alignment. You don't agree with each other. You now have so many disagreements that you can no longer be on the same page. So therefore you don't confront anything anymore, communicate. You instead avoid. And therefore there's division, which leads to divorce. So yes, those scenarios are true, but it happened because in the very beginning, there was no confrontation. And too often, especially in our community, in our Black and brown community, we see confrontation as a problem, an issue, or disrespect, right? And it's not. It's debate. It's conversation, which is why in some amazing schools, you always have debate classes early on. You learn how to debate because it's very healthy to have debatable conversations. Let's confront each other. What do you think? I disagree. Let's talk about it. And a lot of times in a relationship, especially in our community, a confront should be an argument. It's disrespectful. It's an issue. You're going against my will or what I want. And that's not the case. And I think that's what grows that 20-year where all of a sudden it's a divorce. Like, what happened? Well, we never confronted our issues.
Or, again, like I said at the beginning, you have this going on. Over 20 years, that gap is so large, you don't even know who you live with anymore.
Let's talk about, let's give like the real scenario. I'll give an example. Can we do like, you're all right being transparent with the Lovepreneurs thing?
Absolutely.
All right, so let me give an example. Although we love our girl, Andrea. Shout out to Andrea, mama. Mwah. We love you and who you are.
I love you too. Hold on, can't run me. I love you too, bro.
But let's just say, Dave.
Gave her the LL. That was crazy.
How much would you say you've invested in your personal development? Just give a number out there.
Not even.
Estimate.
Financially or time?
Both. Amazing
infinite
example.
Time.
Let's give it a number. We have to give it a number for this.
Okay.
For this,
financially, easily, $200,000.
Okay.
In terms of like coaching and personal development, things of that nature. But hours, I mean, you got to think every day I'm in personal development.
You got your 10,000 in already?
12 years.
Right.
100%. Absolutely. I'm way past the 10. 10 is like the first step where you got to figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
We're way past that now.
Right. How much would you say Andrea has spent in hers? Self-development and time?
Not as much as she'd like.
But would you say you guys are here with the amount of time and money, or you're here with the amount of time and money?
In terms of personal development.
Personal,
in terms of
strictly personal development, business, all that good stuff.
Well, here's the thing. So 2 different personal developments. One, and I think a lot of us entrepreneurs, we get that because we got to understand people and dynamics and sales and conversations and relationships. So that's one part. The other part is business development, which it all kind of ties together. But for her, she may have bought a couple books or, she'll watch a YouTube video, or she's probably watching this right now, so I'm going to be very, very careful. But yeah, I mean, not nearly as much.
Not neck to neck. Yeah. And again, shout out to Andrea, because we know everything she does on the back end.
100%.
Like I know
she's
why you're where you are.
On a whole nother level.
100%. But as you can see, even in her involvement to the level that she's involved in with you, it's still not, as we call, equally yoked, right? Because she's a mother. She has responsibilities. There's other areas in your personal life that she has to take care of.
Major sacrifices.
Sacrifices out this world. And what a lot of times with entrepreneurs, what happens is, you became an entrepreneur, you have this idea, your vision, you're good, you're hype, and it winds up working. And you grow and you become what you always envisioned, and all of a sudden your partner to you is down here and you're up here, not only because you're successful, but the amount of time and money and effort you invested in this craft. And now you start looking down at your partner because they're not where you are. And it's like, wait a minute, don't look down on me. I've been sacrificing in all these other areas for you in life that I didn't have the 13 hours a day to sacrifice in personal development, business development that you had. Don't look down on me because I didn't read all the books you were because I was breastfeeding the kids. Don't look down on me because I had to work 40 hours a week while you were trying to achieve the dream that you were. Somebody had to make sure the bills were being paid because you didn't always have the money at the end of the month, but I had to sacrifice, go to work because we both believe in your vision and goals. Don't look down on me because I didn't spend $500,000 going to conferences that I had to stay back on. You were able to attend them. I couldn't, so I didn't receive the information you did because I had to go to work or take care of the baby or hold down the house. Sure. Don't look down on me because of that. And now all of a sudden you want to leave me because I ain't as cute as the one now you can get with the cute booty and all that. Yeah. Or now the one that also developed herself because she had the time. Now you want to leave me for her because I'm not at your level anymore. Intellectually, you're not where I am anymore. You don't believe in my goals and my vision anymore. Break it down, Chulo, because I get excited and passionate.
Nah, this is good. Thankfully, I don't think I would be interested in dating an entrepreneur. So I never, and I'm thinking back, I obviously, people have stuff going on, and actually I never dated anyone before my wife, but I've never really been into the entrepreneur that's like on that. I don't really want to have business conversations all the time with my, like when I come home, she's taught the kids mad stuff and how their sight words, and like my kids are like saying stuff, and that's the excitement I like. So I'm super in love with that process. Took a minute though to appreciate that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because now, hold on, this is a safe space.
1,000%.
Safe space, absolutely. No one needs to know what we're talking about. It's us three.
So in the beginning, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I was already full-time entrepreneur when I met my wife, and things were going well. And I did approach it from a perspective of I'm taking care of everything. So you should appreciate me more. And I'm not saying that those aren't valid feelings for me or somebody that's listening. I mean, it's a valid feeling, but then I had to really think through all of the things, especially, it really hit when she became a mother because she's got the kids all day. and I spend 20 minutes with my kids. I'm like, yo, get this thing away from me. Hold on, I don't know how you do this. And so it took me a long time to really appreciate that part. But I understand, and I'm sure there are still some remnants of, hey, you don't have to work. You just do what you love to do, which is take care of the kids. And I'm sure there's some remnants. That's why, like you said, you're always growing and trying to figure out your partner. So,
can I translate what you said from a personal relationship to a business concept? That a lot of times, a lot of people transfer both behaviors, right? So what you just said from a personal perspective is, okay, I work, I'm drained when I come home. You should be appreciative as the person that is home, that that's all my responsibility. Appreciate it, do what you gotta do at home, right?
You just gotta be home.
You just gotta be home, you're good. Let me translate down a business perspective that I even want entrepreneurs to get out of that concept as well, as we're all growing and trying to mature into getting out of that, right? When you have a team, you're building a team, you have your staff, your employees, however you like to call them. I like to call them my team, right? My team members versus my staff. They're working every day for your vision. They don't need to appreciate that you're paying them. You need to appreciate that they're willing to wake up every day to work on your vision.
Sure.
Right? And the same thing as a partner at home, they're helping you with your vision because you're able to go do what you got to do out there because they're taking care of what they got to take care of in here. So it's a partnership. This is us. We're a team together. Same with your team, your staff. Be appreciative to them that they're willing to work on your vision with you. They believe in you, that they're coming in and doing that. And too often we see they better be glad I'm paying them. I mean, y'all got a job, right? Because of y'all, because of me, y'all eating. It's like, that's not the attitude to have. Not at home. Yeah. And not in a business. If you're building something, you're building your vision. These are your goals. Everyone that's playing a part should be equally treated regardless of what the exchange is.
Let's talk about the other side of this though, where there's a person that's building something and they're not super supportive. And it's just nag. You need to be home. You out here all the time and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's not like you're helping build. Again, I'm blessed because like all the bookings for the studio, Dre does it. And she called me, I'm going out of the country tomorrow, Wednesday. And she's like, okay, what's all the stuff that you need? I need to go get your cleaner, your dry cleaner, all that kind of stuff. My wife is the bomb.
The bomb, okay.
But there are some scenarios where that spouse is not supportive. Yeah. And you kind of, that feeling is valid of the bravado of like, bro, what's up with you? You don't even do nothing around here.
Yeah. So it's important to understand as a coach, right? You have to identify the gifts and talents within your team, your players, right? Yeah. The Atlanta Hawks, right? That coach has to know when each person steps on that court, what their skill sets are, when to use them, what part of the game, like you may not go in the first quarter because you're very strong in the third quarter. You got to be able to identify the gifts and talents of the people on your team, hence being your partner, like as the leader of the home, and knowing what to invest in with them. As my wife was speaking earlier about this self-development, a lot of times leaders don't even know how to lead. They don't know how to get the support. They just want support. Yeah. Well, give me an example of what it looks like, support to you. Yeah. Because support to you may look much different than what I needed support. A person that says, well, I take care of all the bills, I take care of this, that may not be, your partner may not care about that. That may not be what makes them tick. Yeah. You got to learn and identify what makes them tick. Like, not to compare dogs to people, but like, you want a dog to learn how to walk with you without a leash. There's certain things you're going to need to do as a coach to know that this will make them tick to learn this better. It's the same thing with the people inside your home, kids and all different personalities. Support looks different to everybody. So you need to be able to identify what support needs to look like for you from your spouse and vice versa. So it's not a one-way street. You'll definitely get more support from a woman when you're able to identify what support looks like to you. And then also finding out, like, if I ask you to support me on my podcast, what does that look like, right? You're going to want to know, what does that look like? But also, I need to know, is that something that you're willing to sign up for?
Yeah.
Like, not just assume because you're my partner that you should do it because this is what support looks like for me. There may be some things that they're okay with, some things they're not. Then you just find where you need to get the support for that somewhere else. You may need to hire. You know what I'm saying?
Give me a real example between you and your wife of how you had to educate her on how you want support.
Okay. So
let me just for my girls, my powerful women out there, I'm just going to tweak a little bit what you just said. He didn't educate me. Right? We cultivated a relationship that works for both of us, right? So what I want to clear there,
that was an education process. Hold on, listen. You're saying something crazy right now, and you don't understand that what you're saying is crazy to me.
Yeah.
So let's have this conversation. Let me educate you on how to say this to me, so that I don't take it offensive.
Yeah.
Some of y'all need to be educated. It's an education process, no?
It is. It's cultivating a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to tweak it.
Okay.
Because I know my powerful women ain't no man. You know, that type of.
I think you're projecting.
I just wanted to make sure.
You're projecting. Hold on.
I just want
No. Me, is she projecting? Like, you're not going to educate me.
No.
Is that her? Hold on. No. Let him answer.
Okay.
She's thinking for other people, but yes, there is.
I am.
In cultivating that, there is education that has to.
But if she's the type where you said, "Can I educate you?" she would bark at that.
No, definitely not.
But that was growth, and what I want to make sure, 100%. Remember, I'm as independent. He laid it out in the beginning. You couldn't tell me nothing. I pay my own, all that.
Oh yeah, if I wasn't strong,
make sure
we wouldn't be together right now.
That the women that are listening to you are not turned off. I want them to listen what he's going to say, and not have shut down because of how the question was being said, and then they won't receive that information, right? Receive it. No one is saying that you got to be less than or not or this, or he's going to control you. That's not the goal here, right? Control is suffocation. Force is control, and we don't want that in our relationship, right? But I just wanted to make sure that what he's about to say, that they'll receive. So I didn't want them to shut down, because I know how us independent, powerful women think. We've been there and done that. I wanted them to let their guard down. It's okay. We're not saying that no one's controlling you. What we're saying is that there is a cultivating process here, so that everyone can learn from one another. And it's not that there's one over the other.
So education could be a trigger word for some people.
Educate
and then they
you.
Shut down. Yes.
Educate you. Not education as a word itself, but so what did you tell her she had to do? You know, that type of thing. All right, cool. So just thinking on that.
Go for it.
All right, what was the original question?
So what was something that you had to educate / cultivate, or how we're going to use this word, your wife on how to treat or speak to you? Like, where you say, hey, don't do that like that. Here's how I want to receive it.
Definitely. That's a great question. Communication in itself. Like, there are levels that you can talk to me before I blank out. I won't hear you no more.
I be doing that, bro.
Yeah, for sure. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to get something out of this conversation, know not to go past this right here. You go past this, I don't even hear you anymore. I'm blacked out. You're my wife, so I ain't gonna pop you upside the head. But if it's a guy in the street, once you talk to me at a certain level,
and you're talking about voice level.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I'm gone. I'm blacked out. Like, I'm not even hearing you no more. It's either I'm gonna tee off on you, or I'm going to control myself right now. I can't tell you which way I go depending on the situation. So for my wife, like, don't provoke me in that way. Let's not even do that, because it's not going to be fruitful. Anything we spend our time on to communicate about, let's make sure that we're going to get a resolve out of it, or I'm going to get an understanding, or you're going to get an understanding. But if you go above this level, it's not going to end well. It's just.
But let's talk about why.
Let me get this question real quick. So let's say, for instance, you were volumey, right? Why did you feel that is the way to communicate your message?
Culture. I'm Dominican.
Yeah,
what Hispanic do you not know is not yelling across the room? You're like, oh, y'all arguing, or y'all good?
Right.
So culturally, and the way I grew up, my surroundings, which is so impactful, it has everything to do with how you go into a relationship. I've been like this for years. This is how we talk. In Dominican Republic, there's barely any electricity. So when you get to talk, you're like, yo, what happened? You're excited. And that was always a thing, even in a family dynamic. You know, my family will come together with his family. His family's all like nice and well behaved, and everyone's talking lightly. And my Dominicans are like, yo, what's up? Pass me the Pepsi. What you doing? Why you do that? You know, all hype. And that was the conversation. Can you imagine that culturally, just naturally, I'm hype, I'm excited, I'm boisterous, I'm passionate, with business problems?
Yeah.
Bill problems? Yeah. We don't have enough money at the end to meet payroll and us? Oh, it can get gang related. And it's like, I'm being passionate. I'm worried now. There's issues. What do I do? There's a lot happening, a lot of emotion. And I'll never forget, Dave, oh my God, and this is going to save y'all in so many ways. My husband said to me, won't you just learn how to control your emotions? That's something you can't control? I had no idea. How? What do you do?
Really?
No, I had no idea that if you feel something, you can control how you feel about it. Wow. Do you mean, it's like, so now I call it my toaster, right? You mean to tell me that if I put a slice of bread in a toaster, I can control how dark it gets. So I really want it toasty burnt, it's 10, right? And I was always on a 10. Why not? You know? And if I don't want it toasted, I just want it warm, right? One works. And it's like, oh, wow, really?
Wow.
And I have been able to gradually, maturely, and I'm still growing, controlling my emotions. So now I know how to walk in a room, and when it's supposed to be very wholesome and chill, I know how to behave, you know? And when it's an environment of hype, like last night, we had a good time. You know, I know how to turn, yes, I get to be a 10. You know, I'm excited, I'm home.
I get to be a 10. I've been waiting on this moment.
Right,
That's
you know? But controlling my emotions is something that he educated me.
I like that.
He cultivated me on learning how to do that, but he was gracious with it. He allowed me an opportunity to grow. He gave me grace, meaning when you have grace, it's not that I'm allowed to get away with it all the time, right? So I did it. Okay, I'll give you grace. It's okay, you yelled at me again, you know? It's not that. It's just that he gave me grace where I made a mistake. There were no repercussions. He didn't now start yelling at me. He just checked it. Hey, it's happening again. It's now becoming disrespectful because you're crossing a boundary that we have spoke on. And I am no longer going to have this conversation right now. We call that the diffuser. We agreed and assigned him to be the diffuser in the relationship. So when he says this conversation is not fruitful right now, we're stopping. This is it. We stop. We do not have the conversation. That means I got to go, all the emotion, all the excitement, all the overwhelm, whatever I want to say.
What do you do that last point you knew you was about to make? Like I was going to win with this one.
Right, you know that was my point right there. It took a lot for me to say, it's not going to be fruitful. No matter what, if I say what I'm about to say, no matter what, it's not going to go in his ear. So it's pointless.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can I go to the bathroom real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. For sure. Yeah, we're going to talk about you. Where you going? Okay.
I'm going to come back to that point.
No, yeah.
It's going to be important what I got to say.
Absolutely. Okay, so, all right, now that he's gone. Okay.
Well, now we can really talk the truth. No,
all right, so what are some things you had to, he just didn't know about you that he had to, okay, this is what you need to know about me. Right. I need you to act in a certain way when it comes to this particular point. How'd you have to
I mean, one of the things is that I am very opinionated. You know, I am what we call, I have to speak my mind. I process outward. I don't process inward. So a lot of people can process their thought and figure out what to say next. In order for something to be real for me, I have to say it out loud. Some people can journal and just write. I have to audio. I need to be able to voice my opinions, right? So if we're going to have these type of conversations where you feel like my voice needs to be low, or you can cut off the conversation because it's not being fruitful, please understand that in order for that to continue, and I can trust in you that if you cut this conversation short, you will revisit the conversation, that you are consistent with that revisiting. If you said, we're not going to talk about this now, but before we go to bed tonight, I will make sure that we have a conversation about this. I will not have any problem saying, okay, then you said stop. we're stopping the conversation. Because I know you're going to allow me the opportunity to still speak my mind. Because ultimately, I am someone that needs to speak my mind. I have ideas. I have intuition. I have a voice. I'm very wise. And what I have to say most likely is going to impact you. Forget how the tone is. Forget how it's coming across. Just get into the message, because I'm pretty sure it has something that will impact you. And when we started cultivating that as a way of communication, I got what I needed, which is I have to speak my mind. He got what he needed, which is, okay, speak your mind. I'm good about that. I can be held accountable. I can listen to your ideas, but I need it to be a certain way.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, I think this is just an extremely valuable conversation because relationships are hard, and what I'm gathering now is it really takes two people that are both trying to grow, because none of the advice you give to somebody, if both of them aren't going to take the advice, it's not going to work.
I mean, that's with anything, right? It takes two.
Yeah.
It takes two. Like if you hired someone for a particular job, but if they're not going to do that very thing that you hired them for, this is not going to work, right? Yeah. So it takes two to understand what we're trying to do. So it's both of these.
Let me ask this question. As an entrepreneur, man, first off, side note question. Do y'all coach same-sex marriages?
We don't personally.
That's a good one, because we're not rehearsed in that area. We don't know what that looks like. I can't say me personally. I'm only coaching you in areas that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
I am familiar with this dynamic. I have studied it. By the way, Lovepreneur is based on case studies. It's not based on what we think. Is it cute? Since 2012, we have over 1,000+ case studies on entrepreneur couples. We don't have any on same sex.
Got it.
So I will not speak on something or coach someone on something that I am not educated on.
All right, yeah, I don't know where that question came from.
That's a good question, though. What made you ask that question? No one has ever, and this conversations we've had.
Yeah, for sure.
No one has ever asked us that question.
I don't know.
Not that we're not like having anything against that, but we're just
unfamiliar with it.
It's just not our territory to cover.
I mean, is that something you want to make your territory, though?
Not necessarily. Like it's not something that we've talked about concentrating on. I think that's for someone else.
Do you want to grow on that or no?
I agree with my husband. Okay. I will always be in agreement with my husband, sir.
Good answers. I might get canceled over here.
I wanted to circle back to what we were talking about with my wife. It's very important to understand the history of your partner. Like understanding where she come from, her and her mom, like they were in survival mode, like they were moving as a unit. So for her to come the way she did when we first got together, so strong, and like the levels of communication and stuff like that, I understood her history. So it's easier to give grace when you know the history of somebody, to know the things that they've been through. Understanding that there's room for growth, but I'm not gonna bang you or bang on you, pause, because what you've been through is why you are equipped the way you are.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of women deal with that. They had to literally survive their way to get to where they are. And there's a lot of things that trigger them as well. Yeah. So something may be uncomfortable or triggering to me. I got to also respect the history of my partner, to know things they went through is why they are the way they are. We just got to do the work to get them to where they need to be.
Can I add to that, Chino?
Yes.
I think is important, the survival mode. My husband nailed it. Single parent home, homeless, travel from state to state, trying to get away from a unfruitful relationship that my mom had with my biological father. And in that process, that's where survival mode came. And I want to talk to those entrepreneurs who are attempting to grow a business, who's in survival mode, right? The sacrifice season, that trying to figure it out, that can't make ends meet because you really want to grow this business, but yet you expect your partner to be gracious. It's survival mode for her too as well, or him, right? So don't expect them to have such grace in survival mode. If I'm sacrificing and trying to figure out how to Paul to pay Peter, and I have to work and I got to do an extra 10-hour shifts because of your business and all that, you have to figure out how to cultivate an environment where it's not all survival. I don't have to always be fighting for something. And we see that often in a relationship where you see an entrepreneur in their life, personal life, is survival mode right now. And no one else knows that they're in that mode but them. And that survival mode is a lot of friction. And they're comparing their relationship to a man that's the season of that relationship, to a man and woman that it's not in a survival mode per se. They kind of have it figured out. Don't mean they don't have problems. It's just we're not in survival mode. We're good. We understand what we're doing. Our ends are being met. And she's more gracious to him. And she's more serving. And it's like, yeah, why you don't treat me like that? Because I had to work 20 hours last night and I only could eat peanut butter and jelly sandwich because we can't afford anything. And I'm always working and you're always networking with people. It's two different things happening. So be more gracious with that partner that's helping you establish yourself. Yeah. There's a lot involved, a lot of sacrificing involved, a lot of emotions involved, a lot of uncertainty involved. There's a lot of stress. And any stressful relationship, it's an unhappy one. You can't be happy and stressed at the same time. So if you figure out how to cultivate a relationship where there is sacrifice, there's always going to be sacrifice, but there's happiness. There's not force. There's not control. There's the ability of becoming who you are in this season. You will get a more fruitful, happier relationship with your partner.
And I also like to say this, because it's super important. Like, I know you guys may hear a lot of the things that we've been through over the years, but it's a great feeling being on the opposite side of that now. Mm-hmm. A lot of those struggles we went through, it is worth it for you guys to go through what you have to go through to get to what you need to get to. Yeah. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna come like, packaging with a red bow. You're gonna, same way you do in your business, you have to build your relationship to have success in it. It's not gonna just happen because you said I do. But we can assure you it's definitely worth it if you're willing to put in the work.
Yeah. Prenups, y'all got one?
We actually don't have a prenup. No. We have wills, but no prenup. No, at this point, we helped build each other up. There is no argument there.
Okay.
Like 100%.
Here's the question, though. Let's say, for instance, you are up already, and then you meet Meet. And Meet is the manager at Target, but he's a really good guy.
100%.
Would you say, let's sign this prenup?
Absolutely. Everything is a contract. Everything. Yeah. I mean, our marriage is a contract. It's a contract.
So do you recommend couples to sign let's say, for instance, y'all don't got nothing together. Would you recommend getting a prenup as an entrepreneur?
If you're building together from scratch, in my opinion, no prenup.
Not building together. I mean, typically, for the most part, there's one person that's like really building. Okay, for instance, when I met my wife, she had a job selling insurance. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. We meet. We're hitting it off, and we get married. I was already who I was. Obviously, I've grown through that process. But before we got married, if I came to y'all and said, all right, y'all, we in love, we about to get married, y'all, would you stop the conversation and say, hey, y'all should get a prenup?
In that scenario you painted, I would say yes.
Yeah, definitely.
You have a brand,
and here's the thing. Like, when people hear prenup, it's just like, oh, you don't get anything. There's so many structures that you can do to prenups. And like, there can be, hey, if we stay married this amount of years, this will be released. If we stay married together this amount of years, this can be released. So it's not like it's just shut up because we got a prenup. You have no rights to anything that I own prior to us being married. So it's not always a bad thing. Like, people hear prenups, it's like, oh, I would never do that. Like, no, if I'm with you, I'm with you. It's mine too. Didn't we get married? It ain't that. Educate yourself on prenups. Talk to a lawyer if you need to. That would be my advice, to find out what structure works for you guys.
Especially if you have a brand. Yeah.
My wife didn't like this answer I gave, but I mean, I think she was asked, I was talking about prenups with somebody, and like on an episode she said, y'all talking about prenups. You want a prenup? I said, no. I don't need no prenup. I did say, though, I said, if I was thinking about it before we got married, I'd probably ask you to sign one. But it wasn't, I'm not, but that kind of caused the whole thing.
For sure.
And maybe I shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? But I just wasn't thinking about it. You know what I mean? I was just, let's just do it. But thank God we won't need one ever. So
it's like this as well. Most people don't know what the other side of it looks like. It's just a conversation, like prenup, cool. It's just like most people in business. People don't pay attention to contracts because they're just thinking about the beauty of it all.
Yeah.
Everything that I do, any business that I get involved in, I approach it worst case scenario, not best case scenario. So I'm very, very, very into contracts. And not everybody that I mentor, everybody that I consult, are you paying attention to those contracts? Contracts don't mean anything until something goes wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
And by that time, if you don't have your paperwork in order and you didn't read through the contract you just signed, it's gonna be a whirlwind of fire for you.
Talk to this guy. And this is me a few years ago. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm building. My wife, especially early on, wants to be involved. And she sees me working with other women. But I'm not working with them because I like them more. It's just I work with other entrepreneurs. I don't want to date another entrepreneur, but I work with another entrepreneur. So my wife does want to be involved. So as a good husband, I'm like, all right, well, I'll involve you. But it wasn't working out because I was coming from the perspective of, she doesn't really know what she's talking about, but I got her here, and now I'm frustrated because she doesn't know how to separate what happened at work from what's happening at home. So fired her mad times. Now she's doing amazing. So almost 6 years in, you kind of figure some stuff out. But how does that man or woman, I guess we could flip it somehow, that person that's building something, their spouse wants to be involved. What is your recommendation? And I want to hear from you after.
So my recommendation would be the same way you should have training for all your other staff, there should be training for your spouse as well. If she's not equipped yet 100% on how to fulfill a duty that she may want to do, allow her the process to go through the training. Pay for the training, send her somewhere, have somebody come in.
The Lovepreneur community.
And train on that.
For sure. Nice.
The same way you had to go through training to start your business and learn the things that you needed to in the business as a leader, you have to do the same thing for your staff. That in the Black and brown community, that is probably one of the most underrated tools for a business. Training. You have some money, you get an idea, you're in business. You don't know anything about marketing, you don't know anything about financing, so these are the areas that a lot of the businesses, especially small businesses, struggle because there was never the proper training in place to make it happen. So now you want to hire for a position that you know nothing about.
Yeah. That's good.
That was good.
That was good.
I mean, go ahead, Chulo.
Okay, what advice do you have for that? Let's say woman, because you're a woman. I want to be involved in his business and help any way I can, but it seems like every time I get in, he's just frustrated with me. What's the advice you give? What
value do you bring to the table? What's your skill set?
Maybe if you don't have one, I just want to help, though.
Everyone has a skill set. You were born to do something. What is that something? And that's what you have to provide. That I want to help in anything I can, that doesn't work. Someone coming to you right now, David Shannon, say, hey, I want to help you any way I can, bro. I'll do anything. What's up? You're going to be like, what do you do?
For sure.
What do you want to clean my floor? Like, what do you do as a profession? What are you great at? You're not just going to hire him and say, sure, yeah, come in. All right, Dave, what you want me to do? Anything you want, just go ahead, do it. What kind of business are you running here? Everyone has a specific trait. Everyone has a specific role. Everyone has a specific thing that they are great at. And that's what you're paying them for. Your partner at home is no different.
Yeah.
Our number one, so the Lovepreneur community has 12 commandments. We have a devotional, we have it in ebook form, physical form, on Amazon, our website, everywhere. And it's 12 commandments. The 12 commandments, the first commandment, know your role. Know your role. You said in the very beginning, this is what Andrea does, and this is what I do. You know your role here, you know your role at home, you know her role at home. That is the number one thing for this type of dynamic to work. If you're an entrepreneur already, you have a partner, and they want to figure out how, what is her role? And how do you know your role? What are you great at? What value do you bring? You will be appreciated. I won't fire you if I know you're amazing in that area. I need you for that.
For sure.
So your value goes up. So I would say get to know your role first and then add value to your role. Get better, get training, go to self-development, go development, any type of development. But self-development would be it. Videos, fine, but I believe that you need to be in an educational environment to get the best value.
To really be proactive, for the partner that may not be in the business, take some time for yourself to work on development on your own before you even come to the table. Like, especially if you know you're not great at that thing, but that's really what you want to do in the company. Spend some time and do some development yourself, even before you approach your spouse and say, hey, I want to fulfill this role in the company. That way, when he does ask, like, okay, well, what do you want to do? You can give bullet points on, yes, I know this has to be done, this has to be done, especially if you can identify where it may be a weakness and a flaw right now in the company. And you're ready to fulfill that. Now, that just brings a whole different dynamic to the situation. And as a leader, me hearing you being able to say, well, I've identified that this is a weakness in the company right now. Yeah. I've already done the training to cover that. Here's the first 3 things that I'm going to do. It's a different conversation.
I've learned some things as a man doing business, because you're around women, things of that nature. Just such as like if I have a meeting, I just, if they're here, I'm not closing the door. I don't care who it is, right? Or if you have like a lunch meeting with someone, I'm gonna bring someone, right? Just not with me. So can we talk to the man that's out there building their business? Obviously, they have a wife that it won't be all cases of insecurity, but sometimes it's insecurity. You're networking, you're always around these women. What does the man have to keep in mind? Just at least trying to consider his wife and maybe the feeling she has of him doing business with women.
Well, that's a very good question. It's definitely important to have the transparency. That's one. But yeah, like knowing yourself, like you might say, well, I would never, step out on my wife. I would never do that. Me as a wise guy and dealing with, different personalities of women over the years, prior to being married, I realized like in order for me to make sure that that doesn't happen, I just keep myself out of certain environments. Keep myself out of certain situations that would even open the door for it. During lunches and things like that, yeah, you go to somewhere where it's wide open. Hey, babe, I'm about to have this lunch with such and such.
So you make the call first. I'm having this,
sure.
Just in case somebody take a picture like, hey. Sure. Then she be like, oh yeah, I know, he told me.
Now, granted, there may have been situations where, we were out, you and I were out, and then we happened for some reason to have lunch with some business woman or something. It may be after the fact that I'll be like, hey, babe,
right,
David and I, we just, had lunch with such and such. She may ask some questions. I'm not going, why you need to know that? Why you, like a lot of guys put themselves in situations for their woman to be insecure. Yeah. It's like, she got questions, answer the questions. Like if it ain't nothing, what's the problem answering the questions?
Yeah.
So it's important to just make sure you don't put yourself in environments that can open those doors. It's not always about you. You may be strong, but you don't know what they dealing with on the other side right now.
Yeah. So let's talk to the women. And I hate to keep categorizing. Yeah. Men are the ones that's going to be out and the woman's going to have the problem. But just for general conversation, y'all, just understand. I'm not saying everybody's like that, or because the comments they'll talk about, oh, you all talk about roles anyway. But the person that is that way and they're battling some insecurities, how do you coach those women to say, listen, it's nothing. He's never given you a reason to think that he's stepping out, but those past situations are causing you to ruin this one.
Yeah.
So how do you talk to them?
Like those traumas, right? The traumas that they've been through and stuff. That's why it's important to always have a third party in the conversation, right? So something like Lovepreneur community, or if you want to do counseling or something like that. Having that third party there gives both parties perspective to get away from perception, right? So with her thinking there's something to be insecure about, we have to figure out why. You may be thinking you're not giving her a reason, but your inconsistencies in certain behaviors, certain habits that you have is giving her a reason to think otherwise. So there is trust in consistent positive behavior. So his consistent positive behavior in that example is he'll call me, he'll let me know. I'm not finding out next Tuesday that he had, lunch or something with someone. Our relationship is actually, the way we have been able to grow our partnership relationship has been him involving me in those dinners. He realizes the value in my intuition, that when I bring you along, you'll really read the vibes. Is this someone that I would truly want to be in business with? And he would trust my judgment on that. So there's times that you would see that I am with my husband in those meetings, right? It's like, why is she here? And it's really, I have an assignment. There's a role here. And my role is to see that he's giving me great vibes. That would be a great partner, honest man. I actually was able to talk to his girlfriend or wife while we were at dinner. And he treats her well. So therefore, this is a hack. Y'all have to write this down. So therefore, if he's treating her well, he doesn't seem to have infidelities. He's not a cheater. He may treat this partnership as equally well or better.
Yeah. Do you tell the person you're meeting with ahead of time, hey, I'm going to bring my wife, or you show up with your wife?
Show up with my wife.
Okay.
Here's another hack that I've learned in partnerships, right? You got a partnership with my wife, but other business partners, I realized that over the years in many different partnerships that I've had, when I have a criteria for partnerships, right? And what's at the top of my list, not that I won't do a partnership if this is not hit, but I would rather do business with married people. Reason being is I need to see how you handle the closest relationships to you, because it won't be too long before that becomes me. So if I see that you treat your wife like trash, it's only a matter of time before you start treating me like trash. Yeah. So I need to be able to see how you handle the other closest relationships to you to identify if I want to be sitting in that seat as well. Because a partnership it's like a marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This is good. Yeah, I probably have like another hour or two conversation. We're going to have part two once hey, real quick, I didn't say nothing crazy, right? Just in case my wife was...
No, definitely not.
No. You wouldn't know.
I think you were amazing. Shout out to Andrea. Yeah, you did good.
Because sometimes I say stuff on interviews and she be like, you didn't have to say that. She just says it a little more aggressive, but I did good today, right?
Yeah, for sure.
In our opinion, it's Lovepreneur approved. You're good, but
Wonderful.
I'll talk to my girl later.
Thank you. Yes, just smooth it over. Because she'll take something out of here and be like, what do you mean by that? If I wasn't clear, which she's an amazing communicator and she wants to know. If she has a question in her head, she wants to know. And I will get frustrated sometime because I don't know where that question's coming from.
Yeah.
And it feels like questions feel like an attack sometimes. And I know I have a lot of growing to do. I've said it on the podcast a lot, where if I'm not feeling something, I shut all the way down. I've never yelled, never raised my voice, none of that stuff. I go inside and I think.
You're an internal processor.
Yeah. But I used to think that I'm like such a good man for that. Like I don't yell at my wife, but I realize that could be just as painful as smacking her in the face sometimes.
I'm glad. No, do you know that's what it is? It's equal too.
Yeah.
I love that you know that. A lot of people don't know that. You shutting down and creating a wall is as equally as disrespectful as you yelling at her. It's no different. You're just doing it internally.
Yeah.
Versus, outward.
Yeah, that's the whole nother podcast.
That's
much.
Yeah.
We got
the love languages and all that. But I do want to ask that though, because I always wondered, what's your love language?
What's my love language? Is peace one of them? Like just quiet? Like leave me alone, let me roll out, let me be by my lonesome.
No, that ain't one.
I don't know. I don't really need the words of affirmation like that. I think I like a little bit of all of them. Yeah. I like the physical touch, but not too much. You know what I mean? Touch me when I want to be touched. Yeah. Late in the evenings. You know what I mean? But I'm not the hugger and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I don't live and die off words of affirmation, but it's nice to know that I'm lit. That's right. You know what I mean? I like to know that. What are the other ones? Gifts. Gifts are cool. What are the other ones?
Acts of service.
Access. I love me some access. I love a good act of
Most
service.
entrepreneurs
You're
love
right. Okay, my language
is acts of service.
I love me a good act of service.
Yeah, support.
Yeah, go and grab that for me real quick.
Yeah, and how amazing is it when you don't even gotta ask? They just know.
Yeah. My car was a mess yesterday because I got kids and they don't have no home training. And they just eat chips and it's just crazy. So my wife had to drop me off at Neil's party yesterday and she went home and I came home, my car was spotless and it smelled good. And I said,
that's love.
thank you.
By the way, shout out to our guy Neil.
Yeah, shout out to
we gotta
Neil.
give
That was good.
props.
That was
Yeah,
good.
Neil's awesome.
And it was dope to have an event with a house full of married folk. There's a bunch of married people.
It was
there.
a lot of couples up in there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Love is still alive.
It's still alive.
Love. Now, love is not enough. That's a whole nother podcast. If y'all sitting here having these relationships, because I love him, I love her, love is not enough. That will not sustain it.
Y'all have a podcast yet?
We do have a podcast.
How you been doing?
Yeah.
You been doing a lot of episodes? Like
We have some stuff in there. We got to get to Dave level. We have some deals we need to close.
Okay.
Those deals close, we can give it 100%
Okay.
right after. Yeah, but we do have a podcast. All you guys got to look up is Lovepreneur on Google. You'll see everything that we have. Or at Dhayany, at Meet the Emperor. Everything is on there.
This is good. It's good, man. Thank y'all so much. This was definitely a therapy session. Y'all do therapy? Y'all do therapy?
Absolutely. Yep. And we share our therapy and our counselors. We share them on the Lovepreneur community. The same ones, they're entrepreneurs. It got to be from an entrepreneur level because our stress is business related. So you have to understand that dynamic.
And you guys aren't the perfect couple. Y'all still have issues?
Oh, we definitely.
We're
still.
definitely not perfect. We're purposed. We're far from perfect.
For sure.
I like that.
Because here's the thing: you, as you evolve, like I never been who I am today, so it's impossible for it to be perfect.
Yeah.
We've never been who we are as a couple, as who we are today. We're growing and becoming more, and going into new deals and new opportunities and new ways of finding out how to be there for each other. It's all a work in progress. The moment you feel like you've got your partner down pat, shift
Surprise.
happens,
Yeah.
and now you got to relearn to who they are now. And that will forever be, but you just got to be willing to continue to put the work in. It's like an iPhone. You got a 1.0, 2.0. All of us are the same thing. We're going to have different versions of who we are as we progress and grow in life.
The moment we find the joy in that, it becomes an amazing journey.
Yeah.
Stop fighting that. Stop fighting change. Stop fighting that something different. Stop fighting hard conversations. Find a joy in that. It's amazing that we're growing.
Yeah.
We're becoming. When there's friction in something, it's not a problem. It's actually allowing you to figure out a solution, giving you the opportunity to know something's happening, a solution is needed.
Yeah.
And as
Don't buy it.
entrepreneurs, that's what we do, right? You solving problems all day. Today, you created a show to help solve a problem.
Yeah.
You're solving problems all day. Yeah, let's not get stunned by problems at home.
But this is the part. What success of all this looks like is this. Being able to be in the room. My wife can be and speak just as powerful as I can. Like, it's crazy. She spoke a lot more of this podcast. Last podcast we did together, it was me speaking more. I can look over here and just know that she flows. She knows what she's talking
Admire.
about.
You went to the bathroom and everything?
Yeah. Ain't no cap, no none of that.
And I can hold it down. I can represent you well. I got you.
Oh, look at y'all.
Let's celebrate the night. I'll put you in a pretzel.
I already know.
Hey.
Shout out to hammocks. They know who they are. Hammock.
Shouts out to marital pretzels. I like that. Yo, thank y'all so much, man. I really appreciate y'all stopping by. This was a much needed conversation. And really, again, so like on behalf of everybody, there's a lot of people that we're going after something, but there's this other part of our life that we haven't figured out, and we're so clumsy in this particular area. The world sees us as amazing and the forefront of our brand, but this other side, we are just so clumsy in that. So thank you
Dave,
for
can I
bringing
just
some
share a
clarity.
statistic on that?
Yes.
So that people understand why you felt so serious about this topic. There was a study done, and it was posted on the Journal of Psychology. And the couple that supported each other's vision, dreams, and goals, they figured out how. They did training. They learned each other, educated each other, cultivated that environment in their relationship of support. Their personal net worth increased by 77%. So if I'm an entrepreneur, of course I'm purposeful, but I'm in for the money. I want my net worth to grow.
Yeah.
Why would you ignore an area in your personal life that would add an additional 77% to your net worth?
Yeah.
Right? That it would be silly to ignore that type of investment.
That's a good segue. Go on and let them know the site. Go on and that's a perfect segue.
Yep,
let people know how to connect with you.
Yep, lovegrowrich.com, Lovepreneur. All you gotta do is Google Lovepreneur, Lovepreneur, and you will be able to look us up everywhere.
Can I ask one thing, Dave?
Yeah.
For the second session we do, can you get some topics that your guests would like to, what your followers would like to hear us talk about together on the next session?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We could do that for sure. Actually, I'll bring more to Meetup because they're live right now. I would have took some questions from them. That would have been good. Yeah, or free smoke. Yeah. We could do a live. Every Friday we do a live show on Fridays on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And y'all can be in studio or I can like stream y'all in and we can talk to the people live and we can do some coaching.
Oh, yeah, we love those relationships.
Well, let's say y'all coming to Atlanta.
Yeah, you know we're here constantly. He's constantly here. He has clients here. So.
Yeah, we could do a Friday show. I would prefer y'all be in person, and then other people they can call in, and we'll see them on the screen, and they can get that coaching. That'll be that. There it is, yo man. Make sure
thank you for having
y'all
us.
Connect with the Lovepreneurs if you are having any challenges in your relationship, which I'm sure you are. And if you're saying you're not, you're lying. Because two humans coexisting, it's just a challenge, man. So drop your pride, come to learn from somebody who's been through it. And I think it's really unique what y'all doing. Because it is hard. Most therapists, it's like, you don't understand this. You don't get this. You have no idea what I'm going through. Yeah, like you have no idea.
Going out of the office sometimes worse than they were when they came in.
Yeah,
because of the information they received that is not in alignment. For
sure. So make sure y'all connect with them, man. And also do yourself a favor. Go get you some social proof, meaning go build something, build it really, really big and intentionally. But come back to your community and teach them how you did it. It's the only way our community grows. All right, we are out of here. Peace. If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.